Struggling with the focus. I hope my video is focused. Baby, focus on me. Cameron, won't you focus on me? Hey. And it still looks a little blurry. Ooh. Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Laura, and welcome to my channel. Today, I wanted to answer the most frequently asked questions on my channel. I get the same questions all the time, even though I have a video on every question that I've answered. However, I wanted to give you all of those questions in one place. So if you're interested in hearing the answers to the most frequently asked questions on my channel, then stay tuned. All right, guys, so I am a small YouTube channel, so I think it's very important for me to go through all of the questions, all of the comments that come onto my channel. I take pride in that, and I know sometimes some of you all slip through the cracks, but that is very few and far between. Like, I try really, really hard to answer everybody's question, to comment on everybody's post. And so if I haven't, I'm sorry, but I have tried my hardest to keep up with that. I read everything that you guys say, and I see some of the same questions related to videos that I've already made or things that I've already talked about, and I just assume that you don't watch the whole video. Shame, shame, shame on you. So I decided to make this video so that all of those questions are in one place. Question number one, the most commonly asked question is, can you make a video on the CritiCall test? I have it coming up and I don't know what to do. Well, I made a whole video dedicated to the CritiCall test. It kind of goes from the beginning all the way to the end of the exam itself. That subject is way too much to cover in this video because it's a whole video on its own. So I'm gonna link it down below. So if you have that question about the CritiCall test, I want you to get everything that you need because this FAQ video is not gonna cut it. So go click the link down below to the CritiCall video, and I promise you, it will give you everything that you need. And even if there's something missing, just read the comments because a lot of people have left information. So that is that. Number two, the second most frequent question I get on my channel is, what about the drug test? How am I gonna pass the drug test? Well, my best suggestion for you to pass a drug screen is to not do drugs. I mean, you will pass 100% every time you don't use drugs. However, this is not a channel where I tell you how to fake your drug screen. So I can't give you that information. The best suggestion I have, like I said, is to stop using drugs. If you want to be a 911 dispatcher, if you smoke weed, you know it takes like 30 days or something like that to get out of your system. Stop smoking weed. And if you think you can't go that long, don't become a dispatcher or figure it out. That's all I can say. Number three, like the third most frequently asked question is, how can I pass the polygraph test if I've done drugs in the past or if I falsify some information? Like, how can I pass the polygraph test? And so I can't tell you how to like fake your way through a polygraph test. Like, you have to go to another channel for that. But this is what I will say. I will say that when taking a polygraph test, they do talk to you. Well, even before that, you have to fill out like a little questionnaire. and you'll do it on the computer, and they'll ask you all of those same questions that you filled out in your background investigation, plus some additional questions. Like they'll ask you, have you smoked marijuana? If you have, when is the last time that you did it? And how, they ask you that. So when you go back there with the examiner, with the interviewer, they will ask you the questions that you've answered yes to. So when they ask you if you've ever smoked weed, if you say yes and it was 5 years ago, when you get back there with the polygraph examiner, they're going to ask you about that before they even start asking you the questions. They're going to ask you about the things that you said yes to. So you said, yes, I've used drugs, but it was 5 years ago. They're going to ask you in there, are there any other times that you have used drugs since when you said on the little form and whatnot? And you say no. Or yes, I don't know. But they're going to ask you because they want you to have a clear conscience. Because I think when you don't have a clear conscience is when, you have the indiscrepancies. So they kind of measure like your heart rate and all of that stuff, how much you move to determine if you're telling the truth or not. So I suggest tell the truth. And then if you have any questions when you're in there with the examiner, just ask him. So, number 4. One of the 4th most common questions I get is, well, what if I lied on my application? Okay, so most people, I lied on the application because I wanted them to pick me, but now we have to do this polygraph test, and I want to tell the truth, and I want all of my answers to, to line up with one another. Like, what should I do? Listen, guys, I cannot be your moral compass. If you lied, then you just got to either be okay with your lie and move on with it and keep it moving, or you just tell them that you maybe put the wrong thing. I don't know. I don't advise lying. I just don't. And if you do lie, you just need to be comfortable enough to continue on with your lie. If you have to email me and ask me what if I lied, then you might be SOL. Because in the polygraph test, they do ask you, did you lie on your application, or did you falsify your application to get the job? They do say that. Maybe I probably shouldn't have told y'all that, but they do. I think I said that in my polygraph video. Anyway, number 5. So what happens if I've been fired from a job? Should I list that? Absolutely. If you've been terminated from a job and, even if it wasn't necessarily your fault, or maybe it was, I think it's very important that you list that information, because there is a way for them to check, if you worked on your social security number. It's called E-Verify, and there's many ways that they can go into your work history and see where you've worked. So if you leave something off because you don't want it to come up, or you don't want to really talk about it, that's kind of deception by omission. So I think it's very important. Sometimes they look over those things. Sometimes they give you a chance despite the circumstance. And so if you don't get it, if they don't call you back or whatnot because of that, then that's just, hey, that's what it is. Like Craig Daddy said, you win some, you lose some. But whatever the case, it's very important to just be honest. I think honesty is going to get you a long way. Not I know. Because integrity is one of those things that just sits very high as a 911 dispatcher. As anyone law enforcement, you need to have a higher degree of integrity. So just be honest. Number 6. Will they check my references? Yes, they will check your references. So if you're listing somebody as a reference, make sure that it's a good reference. Don't list somebody who is not going to answer the phone, or who's not going to fill out the email that they send. Make sure that it's a person that's reliable. Make sure it's a person that's going to give you a good reference, but also make sure that it's a person that, they're saying good things about you. They're making, really talking you up as the perfect candidate. Like, don't pick somebody as a reference that's gonna like throw you under the bus. Like, heck nah, they ain't no good. Don't hire. Don't even think about it. You don't want that. 7. What if I have a criminal history, but I had it expunged? Okay, guys, let me tell y'all something about getting things off of your record. I don't know how much money people pay to get, you know, the criminal stuff off of their background, but it's for nothing. It might be good for an employer background check, so it may not come up in that. But if a police officer, let's say you have an arrest or whatever for assault, let's say assault, and it's determined that you are not guilty of that assault, even though you went to jail, you bonded out, you went to trial, and you were found not guilty, and you want it off your record. So you go to the whosoever people who expunge things off of your record, you pay them all of this money because you're found not guilty, you pay them all of this money, and then only to find out that that information can still be pulled up. Like I say, I learned at the very beginning as a dispatcher that nothing is taken off of your record right away. Like I told you all, I was an NCIC dispatcher, and I remember that we had officers who, you know, future officers who do ride-alongs. And so we had an officer doing a ride-along, and anytime they do a ride-along with anybody, whether it's like with the like neighborhood or the city, like citizens patrol or whatever they call it, academy, I don't know, everybody calls it something different, but even people like that from the community that ride with officers, like they have to run a background check. So the officer gave me the the ride-along's name, date of birth, race, gender, and I submitted that because he wanted a full background, full report, because that's what we do. And I gave it back, and he had criminal history. And, you know, the officer asked me, he was like, are you, you know, can you like verify the name? I verified the name, and he talked to the ride-along, and the ride-along had told him that he had something that was expunged off his record. So he thought. So just be careful with that. Number 8. Are we at 8? People ask me all the time, should I work at a small agency or a large agency? And I'm like, my personal preference, I never worked at a large agency. The city I worked at was kind of like in a middle-sized city in like a suburb of Dallas. So I think the population is like 100,000, we'll say at least 100,000 people. So, I mean, that's not, again, I'm from Dallas, so it's relative. Dallas has 1 million people, so 100,000 is nothing compared to 1 million. So, but I didn't want to work in Dallas where there's 1 million people in the city. So I went to the suburbs of Dallas to a place where it wasn't as many people. So my personal thing is, the bigger the city, the more crime, the bigger the crime. In the smaller cities, you still have crime, but it's not as much because you don't have as many people generally. So I personally preferred the smaller agency. But the most frequently asked question on my channel is a question that I cannot even answer. So don't even ask me. Here it is. Do you think that I would make a good 911 dispatcher? I don't know you. I can't answer that question. I can't answer that question. I don't want to say don't ask. You can ask it. I'm going to like it and I'm going to give it a heart. but I ain't gonna answer. I don't have a reply. I don't know if you will be a good 911 dispatcher. It is not the job for everyone. It definitely has its ups and downs. So I don't know what you can handle. I mean, sometimes I didn't think I could handle it. Let's be real. But I could and I did. So I don't know the answer to that question. So don't I? It's okay. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it, and if you want more videos like this, please leave a comment down below. Also remember to rate, comment, and subscribe to your girl. I'm super excited that I have almost 25K. So thank y'all for helping us grow. And somebody told me we were internationally known on the microphone in Australia. So what's up, Australia? Welcome to the USA, to Texas. How you doing? Anyway, guys, it's been real. It's been wonderful. Hope to see you all soon. I'm going to be doing a live video this week. Don't know exactly which day. It'll be Wednesday or Thursday, but you'll get a notification. So definitely make sure you have your notification bells turned on so that you can be notified when I am going live this week. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.